All right, let me get the timer. I found the timer the other day. It was still running from like 2 weeks ago. It was 162 hours.
Yeah. Shane's still talking. It doesn't stop until Shane stops talking.
It's still here.
Hours.
Oh my God, I got to show you.
Look, it's still going. There it is.
163 hours.
Shane's still talking.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of 5 Idiots Talking Toys. It is Sunday, and that means it's time for our regular podcast or video cast here on YouTube. Maybe you're listening on your favorite podcast app. Thank you for that. Thank you for following us there, following us on YouTube by subscribing. Like this video and comment below. One question I have for you to kick this thing off is, what would you like to hear us cover in a future episode? If you have some topic ideas, please drop them in the comment section below. We're always looking for new comments, new topics, and going through comments and looking for some ideas of what people would like to hear us talk about. So drop it down there, and we may cover that topic in a new episode soon. Let's bring the fellas in now. We are going to talk about hopefully a fun one. Brandon is here from the garage. Speaking of garage and automotive parts, Charles is here with all of his parts behind him.
Those nuts and bolts behind him.
A lot of bolts and nuts.
We had like an old mom and pop like what do you call it, tool store in town?
A hardware store, Shane?
Yeah, hardware store. They had like a wall just like that where you could buy loosies of like bolts and screws and stuff. And you'd be going through 100 drawers to find a screw. That's what it looks like to me. All right, so it's just the three of us tonight?
Yep.
Okay. What's the topic, Charles?
The topic is we threw out John and Chris from the podcast.
Right.
Well, I mean, they both volunteered. We threw them. Yeah, they didn't survive. We played Survivor.
Yeah.
And they just didn't make it.
Hang on. We need someone to edit, though.
Oh, there he is. Unfortunately, we did take Chris. If anybody watches Yellowstone, we did take Chris and drop him off at the train station. So he's not going to be with us anymore.
Ever.
Except for right now. Hi, Chris. Back from the train station.
Oh, thanks for having me back on, guys. I appreciate it.
So the topic tonight is, whose idea was this? Brandon? Yeah, this is Brandon's idea. Let's throw it over to Brandon. He is going to tell you all about this topic.
I love this part.
The man who never speaks. Oh, God. What happened?
He didn't say anything. John, what's topic?
Kick him out.
What's topic, John?
I don't know. Let's throw it over.
All right.
Shane, what's topic? I think this topic deals with what, John?
We are the worst show ever.
I don't know. This is probably why we only have 173 views on average.
Yeah, we're 3 full minutes into a video and nobody knows what we're even talking about. We are going to talk about PayPal tonight in the collector hobby.
In the middle?
Because you're the best looking one, John.
We want to see your Jabba.
We got to dangle some eye candy for the ladies.
Can you hold the Jabba for once in an episode?
He was not going to do it. He doesn't like to move them.
You pet him?
Well, in the collector hobby, PayPal comes in to play on a daily basis for buyers and sellers. It's pretty much the preferred payment method from person to person. Of course, we have Venmo, there's Cash App, there's some other things, but certainly in Vintage Star Wars, and I think it's pretty big in Joe's and Motu and all that too, is PayPal. So let's get John out of the center square. And let's throw it open to the group. What's your latest experiences with PayPal? How's that been going? I haven't been selling for a little while. I haven't bought much, but when I do buy, having no troubles on my end. Same as always, nice and easy.
I have a question. Does anybody here share their PayPal account with any of their family members?
No.
Absolutely not. That's
No.
crazy.
Mm-mm.
So
My wife doesn't even know what PayPal is.
you don't share your PayPal with your wife?
No, she has like Venmo for like paying like babysitters. That's it.
Yeah, same thing. My wife doesn't even have a PayPal account.
Yeah, neither does mine. I think she has Venmo.
Yeah, mine has Venmo.
Yeah. No.
John, do you pay babysitters with Venmo?
I don't have anything or person to babysit.
Okay.
I mean, when it comes to the hobby and you're paying PayPal, and obviously guys are spending a lot of money, why in the world would you want to share an account with your wife and have her see everything that you're doing?
I don't keep it a secret, but when I was buying and selling, like I kept a pretty sizable balance in there. And when I bought, I was buying from the money that I brought in from selling stuff. You know, like was my kind of my allowance for myself. Like once
you guys, but do you guys share a bank account with your wife?
I do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like a regular account, you mean?
Yeah, like a checking savings account. Do you guys share like a joint account? Like if this is our account for whatever, you know?
Mm-hmm.
No, we both have our own checking accounts. We both have our own savings account. We do have a joint savings that we use to just transfer money because she uses one bank, I use another, and it's just easier to have something that's very quick and stuff to send to.
Oh, Chris is taking it to another level. Not only does he not share a bank account, he won't even use the same bank as his wife.
Well, I'm similar as well. I don't have, same thing.
Even with credit cards, like she has her own credit card. I have my own credit card. I do not share credit cards.
Yeah.
You know,
we only have a joint bank account to transfer money back and forth, like two different banks. Same thing that Chris has. We don't share our finances. I know some people are big into that. And I think for some, women or men, I don't know, it might be a deal breaker for that person in the relationship if you don't share something, because then you can't keep an eye on the other person. But I know some people that share PayPal accounts and some people that share bank accounts. And in my own experience, seeing what they've done, some people that I've heard horror stories of at work and stuff like that. I mean, real quick, there was a buddy of mine who actually watches the podcast. We were in Vegas together, and actually we weren't in Vegas. We were in Reno, and we won a bunch of money at the casino. We ended up at a
carnival,
and I was sitting there having a couple drinks with some of the other guys, watching the
people playing games on the midway.
And my buddy's like, well, I'm going to go
play ring toss.
So he stumbled in the back of the room, and next thing you know, he's gone for 45 minutes, an hour. I don't know. My phone starts ringing. I'm like, what number? This number looks familiar. I hang up. I'm not answering in here. Phone number calls again. I'm like, who keeps calling me? Is this like an emergency or whatever? I pick it up. I'm like, hello? It was that guy in the back. It was his wife. And she was calling me. And I'm like, why are you calling me? She's like, I'm keeping track of our finances. And I noticed all these charges on the credit card are coming from the one place in Reno. And I looked it up online and it's a
carnival.
I was like, she's like, are you there with him? I was like, wrong number. And she calls me back. She made me go get him in the back. It turns out he was passed out. And
the carny
was charging his card left and right. Thousands of dollars getting charged to this carny back there. And I was like, yo, this has got to stop, man. Let me get him out of here at least. So I grabbed his card, grabbed him, went outside, sobered him up. The next day I was like, hey, man, you might want to call your wife, dude. Like, she's really pissed. You were, charging up a storm. And because he shared the same credit card with his wife, she saw everything that was going on.
This reminds me of like Uncle Victor. Anything Uncle Victor does or buys has to go through his wife. So his wife will be sending the money and stuff like that. And it's like, or we'll be out, like Charles and I will be with Victor, and he'll, like, let's say, charge something. And within 5 seconds, she's like, why did you just charge $100 at the bar for this? And we're like, oh my God. Like,
here's a classic Uncle Victor story. This is gonna actually shock you. I was at his house watching the football game on Sunday or Saturday, whichever day it was. She put in wings. She threw it in the oven. She said, "Hey, Charles." I'm like, "Yeah." I set the timer for 20 minutes. When it rings, can you take the wings out? I'm like, "Yeah, like no big deal." So I look at Victor, and she's like, "Yeah." Victor said that he doesn't know how to do it, and I'm like, Victor doesn't know how to open an oven and pull the and stick them on the top of the oven. And she's like, he has no idea how to do it. So I look at him. I'm like, "Victor, you don't know how to take wings out of the oven?" And he's like, "No."
God.
So the bell rings. Victor's like, "Hey, the alarm's ringing." I'm like, "All right." I said, "Do you want to take the wings out?" He's like, "I don't know how to do it." I'm like, "Victor, you use like a mitten or like a mitt or whatever, and you pull it out." Like
a catcher's mitt. Yeah.
he went so far as he followed me upstairs and I took it out. I'm like, "Victor, this is like not hard. Like, how do you shut the oven off?" And he hit the off button. I'm like, "This is not real. It's not real."
Seems lazy. That's what it seems like.
It's like those memes where the guy, like, you know, the wife asks him to do something and he messes it up so bad on purpose so that she'll never ask him to do it.
Never
again.
ask him again. Yeah.
Right.
So smart.
I mean, there's a lot of guys in the hobby and they're spending so much money. Sometimes I find it hard to believe that they have their wives attached to the PayPal. And again, we're not saying to keep secrets here. Like, you should tell her, but when she's watching every single transaction that goes through, I find it just very weird that people do that, you know?
Yeah.
If you want to be transparent with your wife, I mean, I'm all for communication and you know, whatever, but like more often than not, it causes problems.
Of course.
Well,
I don't think a woman wants to see what, you know, like, I mean, I don't think a man wants to see what a woman spends on makeup and like hair products and skin products. And
I really don't think men care as much.
Well, we don't. No. We absolutely don't. Unless they're charging it and it's just being charged. Like
The bills are paid.
Well, I mean, yeah.
The mortgage is paid. The car payment's made.
Yeah,
You
but
have
John,
food to eat.
if someone's buying like a $5,000 Star Wars figure, like it's ridiculous.
So
If you don't have the money,
Yeah, but I mean,
it's ridiculous.
the problem is that it's not only how much money you're. I mean, you can't really. It's unfathomable to a normal person, and I'm assuming that everyone's wife is more normal than we are, that we spend that much money on plastic and cardboard. I think that's what goes through people's heads, is that you're spending
the
that much
cardboard
money
is mostly
on,
you, Brandon.
You know what I mean?
I mean,
like
when I bought the Boba Fett with the removable rocket and it was $10,000, like I told her, "Hey, I spent $10,000." Did she like it? No, but I didn't care because it's my money in my account. When I bought like the Bosk, the Toxic Slims, I said, "Hey, I just spent $4,500 on a figure," and she just rolls her eyes and shakes her head. Like, at the end of the day, we had separate accounts. She pays for a portion of the bills. I pay for a portion of the bills. As long as and we don't use credit cards. Nothing gets charged, so we don't ever have debt. So as long as she pays her crap and I pay my crap, then we're good.
So
that's it.
Remember when you used to tell your wife that everything costs how much?
$25. Everything's $25.
So what changed from $10,000 to $25?
Everything changed once like the collection started getting really big, and I think she like heard me a couple of times say that like everything that I need right now is very expensive. Like all the cheap stuff is just I have it all already. So she knew at that point that like the expensive stuff is what I needed, but expensive to her when it comes to this stuff would be a couple of $100. She is mind blown when she finds out that like, let's say for instance, this thing is $12,000. Like she is just mind blown by that. She doesn't understand it or get it.
Right.
Yeah, mine didn't
Nor
understand
should she.
until she saw how much stuff was selling for, and then she's like, so I think she kind of figured out that I was lying to her when I told her, you know, she's like, "How much did you spend on that?" I was like, like $50. And she's like, "And why is it on the page for $1,000?" And I was like, whatever. I found it at the swap meet. Whatever. You know, she knew I was lying. You know, I mean, the only time I really ever got caught was when I left I went on an auction. I was bidding on a Star Wars signed poster. I think it was the one that I brought to the convention. You guys have seen it.
Yeah.
With all the signatures on it. I paid quite a bit of money for that because the poster's pretty complete. And I bought that and a Power of the Force 2 signed Obi-Wan by Alec Guinness. There's only like one of 3 known in existence. I bought those 2 things, and it was a lot of money. Well, I fell asleep on the couch watching whatever, and I left the receipt out. Maybe it wasn't out blatantly. It was just in a stack of papers. My wife sees the receipt, and she wakes me up, and she's like, "You spend that much money on this shit?" And I'm like, she goes, "On a poster?" I was like, "What?" And she's like, "Unbelievable! I can't believe you!" And then she stormed off upstairs or whatever. And I was like, "All right."
She's right though.
She is.
I mean, she's not wrong.
She's not wrong, but I was like, just to John's point, the lights are still on, the bills are paid for.
if you have a flat tire, we can pay for it now, and we don't have to sell something to pay for the flat tire.
Right. Like, do I scoff that milk is $4 a gallon? Of course. I'm not paying $4 a gallon for a thing of milk. Like, preposterous. But a $10,000 poster, sure, I'll pay that all day long. Like,
was it really that much?
You have cheap milk in San Diego.
It was less than that.
I know. I was gonna say milk.
Milk here is like $6.50.
Yeah, I just got milk for Mason because he drinks milk every day, and it was I think $7 for organic.
It's
we get organic, like either whole milk or 2%, and it's like almost $7.
Yeah.
$2.89
a gallon.
Yep.
Woo, that's at Georgia.
John
milk.
goes to Dairy Barn. Gets the
my milk might be $4.
He's got goat's milk.
My gallon of gas is a lot more than yours is probably.
Yeah, our gas now is. I need to get gas. It's been like 2 weeks, but I think it's like around 280, 270 something.
Yeah,
it's about like it is down here. 280.
It hasn't been 280 here in like 25 years.
Well, I actually watched an article about that recently, and they said that even if gas goes the cheapest, like 99 cents here, it's impossible for it to ever be below $4 in the state of California because they add so much bull fees and taxes on it that no matter whatever happens, it will never be that cheap ever.
Such a horrible state.
It's a terrible state.
Terrible.
Just think, I just pictured this. Pouring 25 individual gallons of gas in a car. How crazy is that?
For the first time in my life,
it's just like I just pictured like going to the dairy section, getting 25
gallons of milk,
and it lasts maybe a week.
For the first time in my life ever. I've been driving around, like just picking up the kids this week, just, a mile or 2 away, and I need to get gas. And there's like a gas station on the other side of town. I like to usually get it on the highway where it's cheaper. And I'm for like the 4th time in a row, I'm driving with like 0 miles left and the friggin' thing is flashing. I have a full 5-gallon gasoline tank right in my garage for the snowblower. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to pour some gas in my car. Because I don't want to, die on the side of the road on the next time I'm going to get gas. I actually pour gas in my car.
Never pour that gas in your car.
I just got it recently.
That's regular gas. Snowblower gas.
It's regular gas.
Charles, Shane only leaves the house 4 times a year.
Here's a tip: get an electric car. The second I got one, I drive I go to the post office with packages. I don't care. It's free. I go.
It's not free. How's your electric bill?
It went down. I'm serious. I swear to God.
You bought an electric car and this bill went down.
It went down.
I swear it went down.
Yeah.
I swear it went down.
So I have a story about a guy sharing a PayPal account with a wife.
I was going to say something. Can we read some messages maybe that we get and leave the names out?
I mean, if you want to do that, like I'm just telling from a past experience for me, this guy has only bought from me twice. And the second time just recently, I realized I'm like, because when you claim an item on a Rogue 5, you have 24 hours to pay. And I'm pretty lenient with the 24 hours. Like you get 24 hours. I don't bother you. I send you an invoice and I expect you to pay. This guy it's been like over 2 days now. So then I check it and I'm like, wow, he didn't pay me again. So then I scroll up and I realize that the first time he ever bought an item from me, he did this also again. It took him like 4 days. So then I reached out to him and I said, yo, you didn't pay. You're supposed to pay within 24 hours. This is the second time this has happened. And he's like, oh, I'm so sorry. He goes, my wife has the PayPal account and she's supposed to be sending the money. And I said, and I remember just writing back like, I don't care who has a PayPal account. Just pay within 24 hours. Because some of these other groups, they want instant payments. They want it within an hour, 6 hours. We're giving you 24 hours. It's been almost 3 days now. I don't want to hear about how your wife has the PayPal. Why are you buying stuff if you don't have a freaking PayPal account?
If you don't have access to it yourself.
You don't have access to it.
That's not even a shared account. He's got to get his wife to pay for him.
Like that part makes no sense to me. And like I understand guys that don't have it because they can't trust themselves. They spend too much money. I'm honestly, I totally get it. They're trying to like cut back on their spending and maybe they're just a degenerate and whatever. But if you buy an item and your wife has the account, don't wait 4 days to tell her. You tell her, send the payment. I don't want to hear how it's your wife's account and blah, 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 blah. It means nothing to me.
He's working up the courage for 3 days to tell his wife he bought.
It's like the same thing when you're at a casino. You win a bunch of money and you give the money to your friend to put it in his pocket so you don't go and blow it all at the next table. You know? It's the same thing, except that you got to tell your friend that you actually want your money and you need to pay the guy.
I mean, it was funny. Like we went to the casino this past weekend. It was Lisa and I. We went for a day. We left Sunday. We got back Monday, and she'll play blackjack. And you know, she uses her own money, and I use my own money. And I ended up going in the high limit room, and I'm playing, and she's watching me, and she's like, "Wow, you're buying in and playing $100 a hand blackjack?" And I said, "Yeah," and she's like, "Oh." Okay, and like I can already see her like over, like just looking over my shoulder,
getting all anxious. Yeah,
and I was like, "Listen, can you just give me an hour? Just go somewhere, do something. Just give me an hour. I can't play with you staring over my shoulder."
No, you lose immediately.
Yeah, immediately. So thankfully that weekend I ended up doing very, very well. And as soon as I got back home, I told her, I'm like, you know, I divided it by 3. I gave all 3 of my kids money. I put money towards the house. I said, I'm done. She's like, you spent it all already? I go, yeah, because I don't want it in my pocket because I'm going to waste it on something stupid. That's why.
Like Taco Bell.
Like Taco Bell.
Yeah, like Del Taco.
Like Del Tacos.
Yeah.
Well, you won't be spending a lot at Del Taco with their 50-cent snack tacos.
I mean, so I get it because I'm a freaking D-Gen too. When I have money in my pocket, I spend it also. But like, you know, I don't know, this whole sharing account thing or not having access, I just find it weird. Like, why would you want your wife to know every little thing that you're buying?
You really could take this in a number of directions. I mean, the direction I want to take it in is not what everybody wants to hear, but it's almost like, why are you collecting? It's not the answer, but I almost want to say, why are you collecting if you don't have a budget for yourself for that hobby? If you've got to, you know, talk yourself into it for 3 days, how am I going to tell my wife I spent $1,000? Because this is not for you then.
Why are you even buying anything to begin with?
Because here's the problem. The hardest part of any hobby, and especially this hobby, is actually staying patient and having a budget. Yeah. People don't stay patient and they don't set a budget. Some people do, like John Rula, like the action figure grader. He has a budget of whatever it is, and he literally holds it to that dollar. And no matter what deal comes up, if it's not past that month mark, the 30-day mark, he will not touch it, buy it. He waits to the next month because he knows that he's pretty bad and that it can just spiral out of control. Yeah. But some of these other guys, like when you have like a lower budget, like you got to stick to it. You got to be very patient. These items, nothing is rare. This stuff comes up all the time. If it's a stupid coin that I listed and you missed out, don't worry because 9 more times this coin's going to be listed throughout the year and you're going to be able to get it.
And if you give yourself some sort of a budget, let's just say, you know, $200 a month, which is not nothing. I mean, that's a bill. I mean,
it's half a car payment.
Well,
I mean that's your electric bill, you know.
It's what the people that start collecting, you know, they first get in and need to collect everything all at once. Like, have a focus. Don't color outside outside the lines. Be very patient, like Chris said, because none of this is rare.
This has been the downfall of actually many guys. Like many guys that are in the hobby and people that we're even friends with don't collect anymore because they jumped in to collect and they end up spending freaking tens of thousands of dollars in such a short period of time. And they said, "Wow, like oh my god, I just spent $80,000 in 6 months."
I want loose figures.
And I'm like, yeah, because you didn't control yourself.
No, I want loose figures, and then I like these mucks, so I bought these mucks, and then I wanted these baggies.
Yeah,
and then this graded figure, and then this modern figure, and then oddball, and next thing you know, you got a pile of stuff, and you're like, no.
So basically,
next thing you know, you got a basement like Adam Chitwood.
So basically, I'm actually changing my mind. Actually, right now, I'm actually telling everyone that you should share an account with your wife because us men are freaking idiots when it comes to spending money.
Well, the thing that we
go ahead, John.
I was going to say the thing that we're kind of like we haven't really touched on is that we touched on in other episodes. It's an addiction.
It is.
It is an addiction.
Well, that's a separate episode.
That is a separate.
We've already done that episode,
and I don't know if
we did hoarding.
I don't know if addictions and other sense of the word, other types of addictions.
Maybe I should put my drink down when you say that.
I don't know if other addictions ebb and flow. But me with Star Wars, I mean, you guys see I'm pretty cool on it, the last year. I'm really not buying much. I buy something here or there.
Well, you're on your sober journey.
So cool.
But I mean, I was buying a lot for multiple years in a row. I mean, even before I met you guys, when I was doing modern and stuff, I was buying stuff weekly, like multiple times a week.
Look at Shane. Look behind him. He has no rhyme or reason. He's got everything. Look at
that. but I haven't bought much in quite some time now. I don't know if it'll spike again at some point, but I'm kind of just chill right now. I don't need to buy anything.
Here's the other angle of it.
It will.
As a seller, who do you want?
Oh, you want the guy who's irresponsible. Yeah. Like Chris wants you not sharing with your wife.
If he's
wrong when he says he does.
If you're a drug dealer, you want people that are drug addicts. You don't want somebody who's gonna.
You don't want it so that they go into debt and they're fighting with their wives or whatever. But you want somebody who just wants someone who's hey, I'm starting from scratch. I want to start from number 1 to number 100 loose figures. Please get me all of them. That's the guy you want.
Yeah.
I'll actually tell you that this is why I'm the world's worst salesman when it comes to toys, because sometimes I feel like I'm a part-time therapist because I'm the opposite. I actually I just told a guy today actually. And I said, dude, you've been spending a lot of money lately. I says, more than what you've normally spend. And he goes, I know, I really have to stop. He's like, I'm well over my butt. I said, dude, then just relax. Take a step back from the page and relax. This is supposed to be fun.
That's why
don't stress yourself out by spending a ton of money and then worrying about where the money's going to come from, or that if something pops up at home and you don't have the extra money, don't do that, because that's when collecting is no longer fun anymore.
Yeah.
And I tell this to a lot of guys. I said, stop. You got to slow down. I actually booted one guy from the page already. From the page. I won't even go on to that. He's actually a very good friend of mine. He's a very good friend of everybody's. But I booted him from the page because he just wants to keep buying and buying and buying and buying. And I'm like, dude, you got to relax.
Yeah.
You have a problem.
Chris, poor Adam. Chris is the dealer and the sponsor.
Yes.
Yeah, I am.
Well, I was going to say before, let's say you set yourself with a $200 a month budget, which is pretty reasonable.
No one has a budget, Shane.
But I'm saying, if you could do that, you don't need to buy something every month. Let's say you get to the point where you have a good amount of stuff and you're looking for a mock or a graded figure, something that's $400 or $500. If you want to be able to be ready for it, go a month or two without spending that budget, pile it up in a PayPal account or something. Now, all of a sudden you've got $600 and you're not hot on any given thing, but there's a couple things you'd like. If something comes along for $400 or $500, you won't feel bad about it. You've budgeted for that.
And here's the problem to that. The person's impatience outlast the actual love of the hobby, and they'll give it up after 2 months. No one's able to just save money for 3 months and say, oh, in 3 months, I'm going to buy a gunner mock because I really, really want a gunner mock. By the time 3 or 4 months comes and they're saving the money, they're going to be so impatient. They're going to say, you know what? I don't want it anymore because they don't really love the actual hobby. Like,
Yeah, what
we
they do
love
say
the
is-
hobby.
What they do say is, I think the car payment. I think we have a grace period on that, right? 30 days.
You remember the pages, Shane? Like when you were like at the heart of collecting and wanting, every single day someone's posting something, and it's like someone throws up something for like 75% of what it should like routinely cost. You're like, I'll buy that.
I gotta buy it. Yeah,
every day you were buying something. How do you save for 3 months?
I know.
Well, I mean, Chris bought a collection from some guy who was buying 24/7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those people really do have a problem because when you actually see some of the stuff in their collection, it's one thing to say, oh, this collector was all over the place. He's got graded. He's got mocks. He's
all over the place.
You look at some of these guys' collections, and when you actually see some of the items in there, you're like, what were they thinking? Like, it's completely nuts stuff. Like,
because these guys become friends. After a while, they become friends. They're not
buying like
they're not a customer.
Random weird stuff that's not even it's not even worth anything.
Yeah, and you have to tell these people, like, what are you doing? You collect mocks, but why in the world are you having baggies? Why do you have die cast? Why do you have loose graded? You specifically said that you wanted to get one mock of each character on each card front, whatever it may be. Why are you buying toothbrushes?
Well, because it looks like, because to them it's all appealing and it all looks cool, so they got to have it.
Yeah, I know it's the nostalgia too. Yeah.
So to close the episode, because I'm sure Shane's timer like rang about 30 minutes. If you're sharing an account with your wife, you should keep it. If you don't have a PayPal account, tell your wife to join your PayPal account so that she can see, and then you can stop, so that she can watch you and you can relax on your buying.
Or just have separate PayPal accounts and don't worry about it.
Well, listen, I mean, the money has to come from somewhere to get into your PayPal account.
How about you set up a budget, which you probably won't do, because people are very bad at it.
They're not.
Or how about you just
have an accountability group?
Focus your collecting, which you probably won't do because everyone's really bad at it. How about you just have your own? How about this? How about you pay your bills and feed your family, and then use your money that you have extra that you set aside for your hobby, use that and put that in your PayPal account. And
how about this, Brandon? You should be maxing out your 401k, retirement, IRA, Roth IRA, whatever you have. After that, if you have extra money, you should be buying Star Wars stuff.
Right. After that, when you have a little
retirement
left over, then you should be buying a wall of tackle boxes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
I max out my retirement every single year, so I can have all the tackle boxes I want.
Why don't we just create a new show, like morning coffee with Brandon, and he'll just be like a therapist, and he'll just talk to everybody about saving money, budgeting,
Toys Anonymous.
Could we do that, John? Could we have a live show where someone calls in?
We've discussed this before. It's not as easy as it sounds, but we should be able to figure it out.
If they
Charles, this ain't Junkman, Charles. Charles, this ain't Junkman, okay?
Yeah.
Please call this number if you'd like to talk to me. We can talk about toys and how to save some money and budget.
The funny thing is we could actually do that because I'm pretty sure Brandon is waking up the exact same time as me. And he's 3 hours behind, but we're literally waking up at the same time.
When you wake up, Shane?
7:30.
Yeah, I'm already awake.
Yeah, I mean, not that you're waking up at 4:30, but you're up early.
He's up at 3:30.
I'm awake at 4:30.
I gotta tell you that when I go to sleep late at night around 1 or 2, I'm usually talking to Brandon or I see him online.
Yeah.
And then by the time I wake up to put my son on the bus stop, it's at 7:30. Brandon's still messaging in the group chat. And I'm like, it's only been how's this guy awake already? Like, does he never sleep?
Right. And I feel like a jerk because I'm up until like 2 in the morning and then I get up at like 7:30. I'm like, oh, I only got like 5 hours of sleep. Brandon's got like 3+.
Gotta hit it in the morning, man.
Gotta hit that Japanese whiskey.
Market's open at 6:30 over here. Gotta be up and at 'em.
That's true.
So this is going to be our After Dark episode now. We're going to just mother F everybody about spending. There we go.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you want to see After Dark, please subscribe to our Patreon, patreon.com/5idiots talking toys. You can get exclusive episodes of our After Dark series there. All of our episodes a bit early, get early access. You'll also get access to the collections that are going to go up for sale on Rogue 5. You'll get access to those early. You can ask any questions you want. You can see all the close-ups. Get ready for those to get posted and be one of the first in line to buy. And you'll just support the show. We'll keep doing some stupid stuff like you hopefully are enjoying here on YouTube or your favorite podcast app. We'll see you next time on 5 Idiots Talking Toys. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thankies.
Bye.
Bye.
Thankies.